Good day, my friends. My name is Tracy Repchuk, and I'm the host of Reach Millions TV, an entrepreneurial lifestyle and learning channel, where I will educate and introduce you to some of the greatest powerhouses in their fields. Now, as an entrepreneur for over 37 years, I've had the good fortune to appear in Forbes over 27 times, speak in 39 countries, appeared on NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, won awards from the Senate, the Assembly, the White House, and President Obama, written 9 #1 international bestsellers, and from that journey, I have reached millions with my message. So I wanted to make sure you knew how to do this too, with specialized trainings and by introducing you to the people that can help you find more leads, make more sales, and reach millions with your message. You can find out more about me at tracyrepchuk.com and reachmillionsacademy.com. All right. Welcome. Tracy Repchuk here. Super excited to be on what is the final class of setting and getting your goals. And today we're going to cover the secret sauce. I was told not to reveal my secret sauce, but there's no way I'm keeping anything back from you guys. So we're going to be on this today. This is a participating class today, okay? As we kind of wrap everything up and start to go towards the finish line. And so I want you to be saying in the chat as we go along. I'm going to be asking for stuff. So I want you to be ready, particularly if you've been on this journey for the whole 6 courses. You'll have a full scope to pull from. If you're just jumping on, that is not a problem at all. Trust me, when you see what we're going to cover, it is going to come to you like that. So here it is, the secret sauce. Okay, the secret sauce is the bucket list, right? So I have been doing this for a very long time. It's interesting. It was never a matter of, kind of what I want to get done before I die, right? And what the typical bucket list scenario. It was, what do I want to do while I can? Okay. So you have different situations, different times in your life, right? Where you have different levels of freedom. As we know, when we have kids, sometimes our freedoms are limited. We have to stick to their schedules and get them to school, et cetera, right? So you want to create your bucket list based on not huge, 10-year from now goals. I want these to be relatively close so that you're constantly churning your bucket list. And again, it's also not about writing down 100 items. If you have those written down, which, I do have a huge bucket list written down. But what I do is I take the key ones from that big list that I have and focus them in almost on an annual basis. What's what could I burn off as a bucket list item this year? And so that's what this is. So I have broken down the bucket list into 6 categories so that, again, you get an opportunity to really have some balance and really make sure that all of your bucket list items aren't in one bucket, right? You want to spread them across so that you really know how to play, okay? And I'm just putting the Facebook page in there. Great. So the first bucket list is around adventure, right? So for example, as you can see here, I'm like zip lining in some, jungle somewhere. If there's a chance for me to zip line where I go in a country, I do it. I love zip lining. I like kind of all fun outdoor. I love whitewater rafting. I love jet skiing. And so, I do things that I can, and I plan those out. Obviously, this has not been the year for participating in too many bucket list items, but that's okay. You're going to set it anyway, and we're going to see where the world unfolds for us in the future. Alrighty, so as a quick activity, I want you to put in the chat off the top of your head, what are some adventures you'd like to do? Is there a hike, a fun hike? Is there a, an activity that you think would be super cool to have on your adventure list? And then you'll notice here, again, back to almost the vision boarding concept in that, walk the Camino. Nice one, Darlene. That's like a 500-mile spiritual trek across like the meridians. Spectacular one. Beautiful, beautiful. Sailing, walking. I love sailing. I will sail anytime. Get me on the water in a boat and you have a very happy camper. IndyCar day, fun. Coming to Africa, yes. So I love Africa. I love safari. I've done them both. Climb Mount Kilimanjaro, good for you. I don't have that ability. It's almost like I've watched every mountain movie on earth, I think, mountain climbing movie on earth. Only because I'm extremely fascinated, but I know my limitations in a way. But man, yes, I would love to hear about that. Opening up orphanages and schools in Africa. Beautiful. I actually started a project called Give Back Trips. If you want to go check it out, okay, I'll put it in here. Just so you can see the concept. You will especially like this, Heshi, givebacktrips.com. Is I was doing exactly what you're talking about and starting that project in Vietnam. So same type of thing, opening orphanages, helping with schools. I was distributing a book called The Way to Happiness, just to really bring, life back to that area. Oh man, nice. Yes. So we'll have to do some sort of group trip, right, to Africa. Sounds good to me. I love South Africa. So yes, sounds very fun. Verna can get you ready. Hiking in the mountains, Montana in the snow. Yeah, good. Egypt, pyramid. Yes. So it's so funny, Gloria. I had on my bucket list for this year, right? It was right there. Doing the pyramids, doing all of the stuff in Egypt. I had a speaking engagement booked in Egypt. My flight, my hotel, Ritz-Carlton on the Nile. I was ready to go and COVID hit. So shut it all down, that whole thing. So that was my bucket list item for the year. So I'm all on board with you for that one. Very good. So this allows you to really increase the expansion of your goals and desires kind of in a metaphysical way versus, earthbound. But it does not mean that you don't apply and make these things a reality, right? So bucket list for me was Egypt. So what did I do? I got a speaking gig booked. I got everything in place to make it happen. And so, it does when it does. So fantastic. Step 1, adventure. Step 2 is experience. So these are things that you want to do and try and have part and parcel. One of the things I wanted to do forever was to get on TV, right? I wanted to go through that. I wanted to book segments. I wanted to get out a message in a very broad way. And so that was one of the things that I did. So I put that on the bucket list, and then I took practical steps and put those in place in order to make that a reality. So this is the whole thing. As bucket listy as this is, right? It is not out of your realm or out of the scope of you being able to do it. I will definitely get there. There's no way I am leaving Earth without doing that Egypt trip. No, there's no questions whatsoever. It's going to happen. Beautiful. I love that one. Act in a musical. I wrote about me and my mother. Perfect example of an experience. These are kind of things that are, a little bit out of the norm, but doable, right? Okay, cool. That's number 2. Now, next, number 3. We thought, we kind of put it in that adventure column, but it is a destination. So I remember when I had China on my bucket list as a destination. And so sure enough, I did the exact same thing. I actually did this, right? I do a kind of a, you saw how I did the vision boarding for the 4 quadrants. I do a repeat vision board in a way for these 6 elements, right? The top 6 elements I will have on my bucket list for the year. And one of the years I put as a destination, China. Well, here's the power of doing that. I literally got in my email, I don't know, a week, maybe 2 weeks later, after I set that in motion, an invitation to be a keynote speaker at the Global Leaders Economic Summit. So that was, it was 1, it was invitation only. 2, it was for CEOs, heads of state and presidents. And there's like, I don't know, it had to be 144 countries represented, and I was the keynote. And so I was brought in for that. And it was in China, of course. And so I got my item, right? And I got it paid for, which was even better. And so amazing experience, you know, exactly what I'd hoped it would be. And so that's the power of putting this down and then saying, that's what I want. So Spain, Barcelona, absolutely. I think there are very few places for me that aren't on my bucket list as a destination. I've done 155, I don't know if it's countries, destinations, I think 155 places so far. And there's actually a tool I use to track that. And I think it's called like Bean, BEN.com or something like that. And so I have a whole bunch more to do still. And I have a bunch that I want to go back to. So there's always a major destination. And funnily enough, sure enough, I had Portugal and I had Egypt on this year's destination board. And I had both of those booked. And it was funny. I was about to go from, you know, here to Costa Rica, a couple speaking gigs there. Then I was off to the UK. I had a speaking gig booked there. Then I was off to Portugal. I had a speaking gig booked there. Then I had another one after that. And of course, the pandemic shut it all down. So all of those now will get moved to a repeat moment, right? Huge South Pacific. Yes, yes. I'm from Canada, Austria. I've done Austria. Beautiful place. Yes, yes. Okay, good, good. All right. And then next step is people. Who are some influential people you would like to meet? And I remember, again, one of the people I had on my bucket list was Richard Branson. And again, so freaky, right? So don't I get booked to a speaking gig in the UK where Richard Branson was also speaking. So again, you know, again goes to the power of almost, you know, visually and kind of outward manifestation of what do you want. And this is why it's important to do this. A lot of people don't even fathom an activity like this. And so what happens is you get stuck in status quo if you're not dreaming and you're not launching and you're not goal setting, right? Because then you're just plodding along in life and there's no measurement for you. If you don't have things like this, if you've got your vision board and then you've got your bucket list of your 6 items, and those bucket list items never cross off, right? You seem to have those year after year after year. There's something you need to address, right? Because you want to make sure that you're literally applying actions and activities that will move you towards your goals at all times. Once you start to make this an activity that is part of your life, goal setting and getting, right, which is of course the topic, then that's exactly what will start to happen. And so there it is. I want to meet him, have him hear our songs. Nice. So Steven Soundheim, very good. Oh, nice. Island off Cuba. Very cool. Very cool. Cuba's on my list, right? And so it was interesting because I was from Canada, so there wasn't an embargo for me to go to Cuba, but I knew in the US, they really didn't like it if you had that stamp in your passport. So I had actually put that off for many, many years. Very cool. Association form in the post. I'll get Dave to put it. If it's not there now, I'll add it after. Okay, and so that's the people. And so start to set those. Obviously, you know, I have Oprah Winfrey still on my list, right? And you know, you get these close opportunities where you almost get to connect, but you know, that will happen when it happens. And there we go. And then the next one is contribution. Oh, we got a few more. Oprah, Michelle Obama, Ellen Kelly, Whoopi Goldberg would be so cool, wouldn't she? Tyler Perry, Blake Shelton, and Garth Brooks. Someone likes their country music. Tyler Perry would be a great one, I think, too, just because of, you know, how ahead of his time he was in setting up an entire infrastructure for, you know, kind of the African American movies and things of that nature, and then his own production company, and then his own movies that he launched for himself, and then he started to go even broader after the Madeira series and that. Very clever man. I love watching people with that skill level. Nice. Someone's already did. Yes, Oprah's on mine too. John Legend. Heshi, that is a very doable one, Heshi. I am positive we can probably book some sort of event and speak on the same stages. Barbara Streisand is on mine too, Nancy. She has been my idol since, I don't know, I think I was 8 years old. Celine Dion, yes. Josh Groban, Kelly Clarkson. Very nice. Yes. Steven Spielberg, Tom Cruise, yes, put him on mine. Actually, I've already done Tom Cruise. Think about it. I've done Tom Cruise, John Travolta. Yes, those guys have essentially been done. That's a cool one. I forgot to tick that one off. Okay, cool. Very good. Okay, contribution. So this is actually one of my really big ones, right? You know, often people will talk about, you know, what's your big why? You know, what are you really doing this for? What is your huge mission, vision, purpose? Mine really revolves around this. I noticed a couple people mentioning, you know, doing things in Africa, orphanages, schools, etc. Mine's similar and along those lines and of planetary betterment, right? So I have I have organizations that I really want to contribute a heck of a lot more to. And I talked about this earlier, right? You know, you want to be able to contribute from your overflow so that you don't go on empty, or you don't go even worse, below empty. Because we, I think what we've attracted, particularly here to Be Connected, are extremely giving people. You give of your time, you donate, you're definitely here to improve conditions for entrepreneurs, for yourself, and for, you know, in our case that we're working on right now, for associations and nonprofits. It's a very big scope that we're working on here, and then where are you taking that as a next step? And again, we've talked about that. I totally want to really travel and be able to, you know, empower different regions that I go to. with whatever they need, right? Kind of like the Vietnam concept. So give back trips, the concept behind that, so that you guys know, so that you can join me one day, is to put on a local speaking event, so, you know, within a country, to empower the entrepreneurs of that region. I've done this in Kuwait. It's part and parcel of I did this for Kuwait women. And it's part and parcel of how I won awards for the Senate, the Assembly, the White House, and President Obama, was kind of the activities that I was doing, particularly in the Middle East. And I want to continue to do that. So you put on an event, and then as part and parcel, so you're doing, let's say, a couple days of education, and then all of us from the event and the speakers, we go out into the field and we support, right? We almost did like a fundraise or donation of money from the event that goes to a local church, a local something, a local orphanage, provides them with clothing, provides them with, you know, care packages, whatever that region needed. And of course, all this was researched for Vietnam before I even went. We had 4 particular cities and 4 churches selected. And then just kind of doing that. And then we go back to the event and we do kind of one more day, right? Because that day after is a day of almost gratitude, right? That you have the opportunity to learn after what you've just seen, that you have the opportunity to give, you know, to the people that need it, that you have the opportunity to grow within your own business and things of that nature. So it's almost, you're now filled with gratitude and knowledge to where the point you want to always be giving back as well. That's why it's called Give Back Trips. And then there's touring days. So it was meant to be a 7-day cycle, and then you would tour at the end, and then go from there. So that is and was the concept from that perspective. So you can see kind of a bucket list item from mine is really the structure of that. And again, being surrounded with people like yourself, this can be even more easier to do, right? Especially if people have connections, like I know, for example, Costa Rica, we have connections in Costa Rica because of Kate Bell. And that's an activity that could occur exactly as a give back trip, right? We do that, we teach, we go, we empower a region with our help, and then we do another day, and then we tour and enjoy the landscape. So that's kind of how I want to start to structure my life, and have that be a way of life. That is what I'm doing. So that's my journey. And so what's cool is you guys can join me on it now. As you go through this, I realize how blessed I am in all the places I've been, the people I've met, and the things that I have done. Thank you for bringing that back to my awareness. You are so welcome, Brenda. Yeah, it is nice, right? It's almost a reflective moment too. As you see, as you get to acknowledge your own power, acknowledge your own accomplishments, because that's something that we have a tendency to skip, and myself included. I am definitely have to be aware of this one, and have become more aware lately, in that I used to get a goal. I used to set the goal, get the goal, set the goal, get the goal, set the goal, get the goal, right? There was never any relish in the moment. And so you want to definitely take that moment to acknowledge yourself and be grateful for where you are, where you have been, and then plan where you are going. Grateful journal, list all the things I'm grateful for. Very cool. I go through periods where I often do that. And again, I have a book right here, same type of thing. Mine's not even a journal. I have a what do you call it? Almost like a work journal, right? You know, like your calendar. I adore it because it has like 3 pages every week for, did you hit your major targets? What are your goals now for the next week that you plan on doing? And then it has a blank page. And I vary what I use that blank page before I hit Friday. So it ends on a Thursday. It then gives me all of these 3 pages to play with and to strategize the next week out with. And then I get to go kind of on Friday, boom, out of the gates, ready to go. Let's get this next week going. And I like this, especially because for us in this community, Saturday is no longer, right? Historically, for many, Saturday was the do chores around the house day, putts, do this, that, grocery shop, perhaps go to the beach, whatever it is, right? Not the case anymore, man. I have to get up early. I get in for that first training call, then I do the next training call, and then I spend the rest of my Saturday on production. Because I'm already kind of launched in that trajectory. And then on Saturday, I'll often finish around 4 o'clock, and then my fun part begins. I'll call it the fun part, right? But what's great is that production on the Saturday, and this is something you might want to look into because we've all just been trained up, right? Ready to go. That production on the Saturday sets me up all week. So let's say I've done the training calls, and then there I've found online, I go to LinkedIn, I find 22 chambers. I'll send out a bunch of email messages. I'll do follow-up on anything else that has come through. I'll start to plan the week out. I get all of this production in, and then come Tuesday, Wednesday, I have people reaching back to me because I filled my pipeline already. So you want to take a look at implementing a strategy like that can help to set your week up. Okay, and so contribution, and then last but not least, dream purchases. So these are really good because they're the big personal push, right? Like a lot of people want the big, huge house, Well, I had, I don't know how old I would have been, 27, 28, maybe. So I had that, right? I had on my dream board a picture of this huge kind of mansionous house, right? And I, about the age 28, 29, I ended up buying that huge mansionous house, 20 rooms, 8-car garage, 16 acres, 2 ponds, the works. It was paradise. It was a piece of paradise for sure. And so, there it was, one of my dream purchases, and that has continued, right? I set a dream purchase, and here's the thing, dream purchases don't necessarily have to be huge like that. I've had a dream purchase forever. And it was to buy a Rolls Royce. Well, for anyone who's been following me, I bought that Rolls Royce 4 months ago. And it's not that it was, crazy expensive. It was that for some reason, the timing wasn't right. The situation wasn't right. The scenario just wasn't quite right. But living where I'm living now, in the lifestyle and the, that type of thing, it became the perfect purchase. And so I bought it, and I could tell you, we went to like the Beverly Hills Hotel on, I went with my son like 2 days ago, right? Everywhere we go now, we will pull up, valet will come to get the car, and they don't move it. They situate it right in front of the hotel as it faces everybody. It becomes the feature car everywhere we go. And that's kind of fun. So, that's like it was a dream purchase that I finally could have bought years ago. It wasn't the money. It was somewhat of a timing issue for me. And maybe at the point where I felt like I deserved extravagance like that, I don't know. But it finally became that moment where I said, I'm getting the Rolls. So again, continue to stay connected with me. For those of you who are in my Facebook group already, you'll know that I share, all sorts of new things, training videos. As soon as somebody says they need something, I'll create something that helps you to overcome this.